I'll never forget the day that I went to the nursing unit at one of the hospitals at Thedacare. I'd been invited there by the nurses because they were about to start a major improvement activity around medication error reduction. And I'd done my homework before I went and actually found out that in this unit, medication errors were the lowest they were in any of the hospital nursing units. So I asked before I started my presentation, why is it that your unit is so good? And one of the nurses in the back of the room raises her hand and says, well, we just don't report medication errors. A hush went over the room, as you might imagine, and everybody sort of looked down at their feet. And what I said to that nurse was, thank you very much for being honest. That created a huge sigh of relief, and we actually started to have a reasonable dialogue about the problem. We did the 5 whys. So why don't you report medication errors? Well, it takes me 2 minutes to get through the 14 screens on the computer before I can even report them. I'm generally so busy at night I don't have any time to do this work on the computer. And frankly, I'm worried about my job. Last year, one of my colleagues was fired supposedly because she made a medication error. So I was pretty shocked by that comment and actually made it clear to the team that was assembled there that day that no one would ever be fired for reporting medication errors, that we would aggressively work on trying to reduce the time that it takes to actually enter an error if it were made. And they could call me anytime if they felt that these things were not happening. So I actually spent some time investigating this issue. Was there really an employee that was fired for making a medication error? And there wasn't an employee fired, actually. It wasn't totally clear whether it was because an error had been made or not. But the root cause of many of this nurses and, frankly, the other nurses in that unit's concern was the person that they were reporting to, and that person was not consistent in decision-making and was sort of perpetrating the shame and blame type of atmosphere in that unit. So, to make a long story short, what happened eventually was that management person was removed, and subsequently, all of a sudden, the medication error rates started to go up, which meant, of course, that the nurses felt comfortable that they could actually start to report these errors so that we could then do root cause analyses and eliminate them. This story is one of many stories that we highlight in the book On the Mend, and it describes the state of healthcare today. And what we do as we describe stories like this is then we also explain how things can be better and how using a common methodology called Lean in healthcare can actually help to solve some of these problems both from a people and a process standpoint.